All right, my editing skills are crap, but can the same thing be said about Minority Report, the pilot for the new TV series on Fox? Stick around and find out. All right. I'm Peter Franzen from ChristianGeekCentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions. This is my uncut review of the pilot for Minority Report on Fox. The synopsis basically is in the future, three children changed by an experiment can combine their efforts to see crimes that are about to happen. After being kept in seclusion and unwillingly trading their childhoods to be used as tools of law enforcement for many years, their program is abolished and they are set free to live alone away from society. So now they're adults, and one of these three precognitives, named Dash, one of two twins, can't help but want to prevent murders if he's able. So he re-enters society kind of under the radar and crosses paths with a female police detective named Vega, and the two become an off-the-books crime prevention team. But how long can this illegal partnership last, and what roles will the other two precogs play? All right, so this is based on the Steven Spielberg movie starring Tom Cruise. It takes place a number of years after those events and does not feature the Tom Cruise character, at least not at this point. The pacing, I felt like, never dragged for me, but there are also no twists or significant revelations in the story like those in the original movie, which I really enjoyed and kind of took me off guard. It was a pilot, and it was setting up a concept to move forward with. So I think there's plenty of room for twists and turns, but I just didn't have any that really grabbed me or surprised me in this pilot. The tone is largely that of a serious crime drama. I mean, there are these future flashes that the precog will have of these violent crimes that are going to happen, and these images are like, I mean, they are dark. They're sometimes gory. They're sometimes disturbing. You know, this is definitely a dark, serious sci-fi setting, but it has these frequent comedic bits featuring the precog Dash as he kind of adjusts to being social for the first time in his life. Bouncing back and forth between these two tones is a little strange to me, but then again, I don't laugh at what many others find funny, so I'm a bad benchmark. Maybe a lot of people watching this, think, oh man, he's really a crack up. Oh, he's really cute and funny or whatever. But it didn't work for me. I'm hoping for a character-driven show. I think there's a lot of potential for that as Dash, the precog, is kind of entering back into society. We don't go into like his motives. He wants to keep people from being, murdered, but I mean, that motive in and of itself is a little simplistic. I would like something else that drives him, There is kind of a slight hint that maybe he's trying to repair the wrongs of his past by keeping other people from being killed, but I don't know. I would just like to know a little bit more what is behind further that motivation of his to just stop people from being murdered. I just want more to these characters. I want to understand what motivates them, what they care about, and what it will mean to them if they don't achieve what they are trying to achieve. That's really important for me to hook me. I really like character-driven stories, and I think this has potential for that, but I didn't see a lot of that in this first episode. This first episode felt kind of like sci-fi CSI, and I'm not really interested in that, so hopefully they'll be more character-driven going forward, but it wasn't a strong focus of the pilot. So let's talk about the actors a little bit. The two people that are in this, I mean, you won't recognize their faces. I mean, I really didn't, but maybe like Stark Sands, is that his name? I can't remember. Oh, I don't have IMDb up anymore. That might be his name. But the guy that plays the precog Dash, he was very interesting to watch. I think he probably had more to work with than the actress that played Vega, the police detective. But both leads seem like solid actors that work well with what they have. They even at times brought just a little bit more than I thought the script demanded. So that bodes well for the future of the series, I think. But right now, we know very little about either character, and it seems like the actors might not know their characters super well yet either. I didn't get the sense that either one of them had like a backstory or had like a lot of complexity motivating them. So it may be that the actors don't really have a handle at this point on who their characters are in all their richness, which is very common at the beginning of a series. So there's room for forgiveness and patience there. That said, as the characters become fleshed out, I think both of these actors will be ready and able to bring them to life with more dimensions. That's just the impression I got from their performances in the pilot. They both seem to have good emotional access. I'm hoping that, oh, yep, it is Stark Sands. I've got it in my notes here. Stark Sands, who plays the precog Dash, will settle down his performance just a bit with time. He wasn't like crazy Jim Carrey, but and Dash is far from a normal character, but Sands' expressiveness and his manner of speaking as the character Dash are both a bit too exaggerated for my tastes and feel like actor choices rather than the real behavior of a damaged human being. And again, we're talking about a character that I don't think really has an analog in the real world as far as like what his condition is, but it would be nice still to have something that was just a little bit more relatable to something that maybe we've experienced and seen in other people who are emotionally or psychologically wounded. Combine this with a character design that feels like the kind of, it's the cute android trying to be human routine, and we've seen that in tons of sci-fi over the years, and so it feels a bit too familiar to me and also a little out of place with the largely serious and even dark tone of the story and the crimes being committed. The visuals, really solid CG for a TV show. I mean, to my eye, it looks like CG, but I'm cursed with an eye that can pick out CG really well. But the fact that there's plenty of it and for TV it looks solid, I think, oh, that's great. They're going to give some time, some money, and effort into making this a quality special effects experience. And they present the world of the future, I thought, very well, with numerous outdoor scenes and establishing shots that set up and sell the setting of the story for me. Even though I'm recognizing, okay, CG, the design of it all and the placement of it all, and it creates the world well. And it's not exactly like the movie, but I mean it has so much in common in terms of the visual design that it works really well as just a continuing on from the world that the original movie set up. And since some time has passed, you can justify, okay, maybe a few things are a little bit different. So as far as like relevance, is there anything of like moral, spiritual, or philosophical significance, any themes like that might pop out to the viewer and cause us to kind of think or converse about something worthwhile when all is said and done? Well, nothing stood out for me without searching for it. Destiny might be a theme, and I hope it will be. I think there's a lot of potential for them to talk about destiny. The whole Minority Report concept, which means that sometimes there's a disagreement between the three precogs of whether or not an event is really going to happen. That was kind of during the Minority Report program something that was kind of kept under wraps. They didn't want to talk about that because they wanted to capture and punish all the people that were going to commit these crimes no matter what. Well, when it turns out that maybe they weren't, we don't know for sure. That's why the crime, the program was shut down. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen the Minority Report movie, but if you watch this pilot, you're going to have plot elements of the movie spoiled for you. But anyway, because of that concept, it means that the future is not set. At least not, their visions of the future are not set. And I think that we prefer these kinds of stories in our science fiction because we are willful creatures and we want to be in charge of ourselves. We want to be in control of our destiny. But Proverbs 19:21 says that many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of Yahweh that will stand. The interaction between God's sovereignty, his complete and ultimate control over events, and human free will, the fact that those two can and do coexist in their fullness is a mystery, but it's not logically a contradiction. And I suppose if there's interest, I can talk about that concept sometime, because it is certainly, I think, relevant to sci-fi and geekery. And but I would like to see more time travel stories, of which this is one in a sense, when you can see into the future, kind of like the movie Frequency, I think of as a time travel story. Maybe it's just the mind that's traveling in time. But in time travel stories, I'd like to see more of them where the future is set, and yet human free will is absolutely in full effect. This is a concept that's virtually unexplored. I think in almost every sci-fi time travel based movie I can think of, the future is not set and it's all about changing the future, but I would love to see a sci-fi story, more sci-fi stories. I've seen maybe one or two where the future is set and yet they show us how human free will is absolutely uncompromised in that. That's virtually unexplored. It would be really cool to see more of that in science fiction. So anyway, to wrap this up, time traveling Pater would travel back in time to yesterday's Pater and say, Pater, you're busy. You don't have time for good TV. You don't have time for even great TV. This isn't breaking, or you only have time for like mind-blowingly revolutionary TV. And for me, that would be like Breaking Bad or Farscape, or maybe a lot of the new Battlestar Galactica. But this isn't that. That it's not a bad show at all. But I mean, you only have time, Pater, for awesome shows. So wait and see what people say after season 1 is done, then maybe give it another try. If the series runs to completion and is not canceled, then come back and give it a try from the beginning again. I would give this, I suppose, a quality score of 8. That's about a B letter grade, and a relevant score of a 5.5. That's a failing score. That's not to say that there's nothing in there to find and think or talk about, but I don't think that people are generally going to be seeing anything or contemplating anything particularly worthwhile. I could be wrong on that. I'd love to get your thoughts on that, kind of what your impressions of the pilot were. You can give me those in the comments below. Also, check out the Extra Life video if you haven't. Christian Geek Central is, we're having a team for the Extra Life video game event. There's a video on this channel you can check out. I'd love to have you involved in that. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you like this video, want to share it, and want more of it. You can also support this channel by visiting spiritblade.com and seeing what we have for you there. Then please visit christiangeekcentral.com for a ton more content and community. I hope you join us there soon as we continue to geek out and seek the truth. Where's that button? I minimized it. I should have had it ready, dang it!